You guys are not going to believe what just surfaced about Diddy's prison life. And I'm talking about footage that's so wild, some of it can't even be shown on YouTube. Look, I know exactly why you clicked on this video. You want to see that viral footage of female guards allegedly getting way too close to Diddy behind bars. You want to know if he's really getting special treatment in prison. And trust me, after going through all the evidence, this story is crazier than anything we could have imagined. So stick around because we're about to dive deep into everything. The rumors, the footage, and the shocking truth about what's really happening at MDC Brooklyn. What's going on, everyone? So by now, you've probably seen the claims all over social media about new footage showing female prison guards going too far with Diddy at MDC Brooklyn. And honestly, when I first saw these allegations pop up on my timeline, I had to do a deep dive to figure out what's actually true and what's just internet rumors getting out of hand. This is exactly the kind of story that gets everyone talking, right? A famous celebrity in prison, allegations of special treatment, and now possible inappropriate relationships with guards. It's like something straight out of a movie. But guys, this might actually be real life. So let's break down everything we know so far. But before we jump into all the prison drama, let me quickly catch up anyone who might not know the full story here. Diddy was arrested back in September 2024 on some seriously heavy federal charges. We're talking racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution. Like, these aren't small-time charges, guys. Right now, he's locked up at MDC Brooklyn, which is basically the famous celebrity jail where all the high-profile cases end up. His trial is set for May 12th, and even though he pleaded not guilty to everything, the court denied his bail. And get this, he offered $50 million to get out. $50 million! Can you even imagine having that kind of money to throw around? But the judge said no way, which tells you just how serious these charges really are. Alright, so here's where things get really interesting. There's this viral TikTok video that supposedly shows Diddy riding a bike inside his jail cafeteria. Now I'm going to show you this clip right here, but honestly, I can't tell if it's actually him or not. The video quality isn't great, but it's gotten millions of views. Like, what do you guys think? Does that look like Diddy to you? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious what you all see. But here's the thing that's really confusing me. We're getting these completely opposite reports about his prison life. On one side, people are saying the conditions at MDC are awful and he's having a terrible time. But on the flip side, there are all these rumors saying he's somehow having a good time behind bars. And then there are these wild allegations, and I mean wild, that he's getting what people call snow bunnies inside jail. Now, I'm not gonna spell out exactly what that means because YouTube would probably demonetize this video instantly, but you can probably figure it out. There's even this TikTok skit that shows what might be happening with other male inmates.
Hey, somebody help me! Diddy's f***ing the shit out of me! You gonna be part of bad boys when I'm done with you. Take that. Diddy, get your bitch from me!
I mean, it's obviously just a joke, but it makes you wonder what people are really thinking about this whole situation, you know? Now guys, while all this prison drama is happening, the legal situation is getting even more serious. Prosecutors just updated the charges against Diddy, making them way worse than before. Get this, they pushed the timeline of his alleged criminal activities all the way back to 2004. Not 2008 like they first thought, but 2004. That's like 20 years of alleged criminal behavior, and they've added more victims to the case with accusations of drugging, assaulting, and blackmailing women. Of course, Diddy's lawyer is calling all these new claims ridiculous. The attorney is trying to argue for alternatives to prison time like house arrest, saying professional help would work better outside of jail.
Would you argue to the judge that the best way to get real professional help is on the outside, not the inside, and therefore house arrest or just house confinement might be more appropriate than prison?
That is certainly an argument that I may make. I mean, I think I'm certainly going to be asking the judge as a condition of his supervised release that he have appropriate counseling and therapy. I think he needs it. I think he thinks he needs it. And that's the important part.
But honestly, with charges this serious, I don't know if the courts are going to buy that argument. Speaking of that $50 million bail attempt, guys, can we just talk about how insane that is? Like, most people can barely afford a $500 emergency, and this man tried to bribe the court with $50 million just to get out early. The judge obviously denied it because, hello, he could be dangerous to other people. But here's something that really shows you how wild Diddy's lifestyle was before all this. Apparently, he had this big white bed placed right on his lawn so people could just, well, let's just say, hang out together. I mean, what kind of lifestyle is that? It's like something you'd see in a crazy movie, not real life. And there's this interesting detail that after Diddy was found not guilty in some previous case, rappers like 50 Cent allegedly received blackmail texts on their social media. Like, imagine getting a threatening message just because someone you know got cleared of charges. That's some next level drama right there. When Diddy first got to prison, he was on suicide watch and in a protective unit, but later he got moved to general population. That's usually a sign that officials think you're stable enough to be around other inmates. Now, here's where we get to the really controversial stuff. There are reports saying other inmates are doing favors for Diddy, and some prison guards are apparently allowing this behavior inside the jail.
He was befriended by some inmates, or maybe he befriended them. Either way, he had allegedly some inmate friends, some pals, and there were some interesting reports. For instance, one of the reports was that these other inmates were making Diddy's bed for him. And there were other reports that some of these inmates would do Diddy's chores for him, or give him snacks, or that Diddy was trading canned goods with these people kind of as his form of currency. And then one that really made a lot of headlines is the fact, or the allegation, that some of these people would allow P. Diddy to use their phone accounts.
But wait, it gets even crazier. There are allegations that Diddy is getting intimate with other inmates and some female prison staff. Now, I gotta be clear here. These are just rumors based on his past behavior. There's no actual confirmation of any of this happening. What we do know for sure is that prosecutors say he used other inmates' phone accounts to try and influence witnesses. That's definitely not allowed and could get him in even more trouble. There are also reports that he's been experiencing paranoia and even had some kind of breakdown. Look, prison is tough for anyone, but when you're used to living like a king and suddenly you're locked up, I can only imagine how hard that psychological adjustment must be. But guys, this whole situation with female guards and male inmates, it's apparently way more common than most people realize. There's this YouTuber named Portia Louder who shared her personal experience about the growing cases of female officers engaging in inappropriate relationships with inmates.
The officers in prison have relationships with inmates. Well, it's completely illegal, and it does happen. So in my experience, I was in a female institution, and I didn't see it, but I was kind of out of that loop. But I talked to the girls, and especially the ones that had served a lot of time, they would crush on officers, and some of them had relationships, and they wouldn't tell on them because even the officers would bring contraband in, right? Recently, somebody told me that in the men's prisons, it's even worse, that the females get caught up in the relationships with the men. And I watched this video on TikTok recently of a guy that's in prison. He's doing the video in prison, and he's standing outside a jail cell, and he goes, "I'm that bad boy that's gonna ruin your life." He says, "Welcome to my world." He goes, "You know, one date with me and your life is over." And I thought it was kind of entertaining, but there are a lot of smooth inmates in prison, especially the males, and I'm sure that some of the women get caught up in that. I hadn't really thought about that. I was at the Dublin, California prison that's been shut down for inappropriate relationships with officers and inmates, and I actually had to testify and will be testifying again in September. So it does happen. What I noticed was that the girls, these young girls, they come into prison, and like one of my roommates had a 14-year prison sentence and she came in at 18.
And actually, it's not just female guards with male inmates. Apparently, it's even more common for female inmates to get quote-unquote favors from male guards. Lady Perps talked about this on a podcast, and her perspective is really eye-opening.
Week you'll see a guard getting walked off.
What?
I mean, they're men. I don't know why they have them working in female prisons. They should have more females in there, but I mean, they're men, you know what I mean? But I'll tell you one thing about California. These women, they'll get what they want from them. I've seen it happen all the time. I'm talking about phones. I've been to prison in Arizona too, and they ain't got phones there. They ain't got nothing. They're messing with these COs just for a good time or whatever, you know what I mean? Like just to kill time. But in California, they're getting what they can from them. I'm talking about commissary, I'm talking about money. They
got game.
Yeah. They're making it happen just like the men make it happen in prison, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're getting away with things.
It's honestly pretty disturbing when you think about the power dynamics involved. Guards have all the control, and inmates are in this super vulnerable position. It's not a fair situation for anyone. So Diddy is at MDC Brooklyn, which is basically the go-to jail for famous celebrities. And here's what I'm thinking. If inappropriate relationships between guards and inmates happen in regular prisons, wouldn't they be like 200% more likely in celebrity prisons? Think about it. These guards are around famous, wealthy, charismatic people all day. The temptation has got to be way higher, right? Plus, celebrities usually have more resources and connections, so they might be able to offer things that regular inmates can't. If you go on Twitter or TikTok right now, you'll see tons of videos claiming to show these kinds of relationships. Some of the footage is so inappropriate that I literally can't show it on YouTube because it would get this video taken down instantly. But that's exactly what makes this Diddy situation so believable to people. We've all seen evidence that this stuff happens. So when rumors start spreading about a specific celebrity, everyone's like, yeah, that tracks. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team is trying everything they can to get him out. And I mean everything. They're desperately trying to get him released at all costs, according to reports. Their defense strategy right now is to try and get some of the charges completely dismissed. But get this, they're arguing that what Diddy did was basically like being a quote-unquote producer and should be protected by free speech laws. I'm not a lawyer, but that seems like a pretty wild argument to me. Like, are they really trying to say that allegedly drugging and assaulting people is the same as making adult films? That's a huge stretch, and I don't know if any judge is gonna buy that. All right, guys, so let me recap what we know so far. We've got unconfirmed footage allegedly showing inappropriate relationships between Diddy and female guards. We've learned about this bigger pattern of guards and inmates getting involved with each other, and we've seen how Diddy's current situation just keeps getting more complicated. But here's the thing. I need to remind everyone that these are still just allegations and rumors. We don't have confirmed proof of most of this stuff. The legal system has to run its course, and we won't really know the full truth until everything comes out in court. What do you guys think, though? Do you believe these allegations are true? Have you seen any of this viral footage that people are talking about? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'm genuinely curious to hear different perspectives on this whole situation. If you want to keep getting updates on this case as more information comes out, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. This story is definitely not over, and I have a feeling there are going to be even more wild developments coming soon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay curious.